Steigerwald versus Fedko, live every Monday 1 to 2 p.m. exclusively on Trib Live Radio. Now, here's your hosts, John Steigerwald and John Fedko. Trib Total Media. See what's next. Brought to you by Eastern H2O, located in Fox Chapel Plaza.
Is your ski or snowboard ready to go? Stop in and have your gear waxed up at Eastern H2O. While you're there, check out the great sales and specials they have, like the Reactor watches.
Yes, and welcome to Steigerwald versus Fedko. It is brought to you by Eastern H2O. It's located in Fox Chapel Plaza. It is a performance sports store. Reactor watches, baby. Check them out at the H2O, Eastern H2O store located in Fox Chapel. We got a lot of things. We got a big weekend that just completed here of sports.
Absolutely. Good weekend for the local guys.
Yeah.
Real good weekend.
Yeah. Before we get to the Penguins and the Hall, we're going to talk about the Penguins. You wanted to fire Bilesma last week, I think.
I did not. No, I did not.
No,
I did not. Maybe last year I did, but not last week.
The Jerome Bettis not getting into the Hall of Fame. We'll get to that.
Travesty.
But I want to ask you, I'm assuming you did watch that football game yesterday.
Absolutely.
Question in town now, to Pittsburghize it, to Steelerize it a little bit. Would you, today, rather start the season now, systems aside, and having, the whole thing that goes with changing quarterbacks, we'll put that aside for a second, because there's an issue about whether a new quarterback getting adjusted. That stuff all aside. Would you rather start the season next year with Joe Flacco as your quarterback or Ben Roethlisberger?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay, why?
I'm not going to give up on it because I think Ben Roethlisberger is one of the most unique quarterbacks in the history of the league. I still think he has 5 years left in his prime. Nobody escapes the intense pass rushes of today's NFL better than Ben Roethlisberger, and nobody makes plays on the fly in the history of the game like Ben Roethlisberger from the quarterback position. He's 1 in a million. I would not trade him.
I agree with that 100%, except I'll ask you this question. Who's been the better quarterback since last January?
No
December?
question, Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
None. Flacco's moved himself after that performance in the playoffs now. I'm not talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that playoff ride puts him in Ben Roethlisberger's category unequivocally.
Yeah.
He's got to be top 5 in the league. He's got to be.
No.
He has to be.
My problem with I would take Flacco because I like the way he's playing right now, and I don't like the way Ben Roethlisberger has played the last year or so. With the pick sixes and bad decisions he shouldn't be making at this point in his career. And I just have this feeling, I could be wrong about it, that Ben Roethlisberger is one of these guys who is going to be really good, and fall off a cliff.
Wow, like a Joe Namath.
Well, yeah, because of what you just said. His whole thing is built on his escapability. When he loses 10% of that ability, it goes from being an unbelievable asset to a real detriment and something that gets you in trouble because he's going to be getting sacked and throwing bad interceptions. I can't prove that that's going to be the case. I'm beginning to get that feeling. I'm watching Flacco. I think Flacco's trajectory is like this. Ben's is more like that level. And I think I talked about this with the other guys earlier before you came in. I'm wondering if the Steelers are moving forward with the idea that they're not going to let Ben Roethlisberger be Ben Roethlisberger, that they are going to try to cut down on his escapability, and there's all they do is talk about protecting their quarterback, and I have a feeling that the more you try to protect him, the less valuable he becomes.
Right. In other words, you don't want to un-Cordell Stewart him like they tried to do with Cordell for a while. Take away some of his best attributes and made him unique. Well,
Bill Cowher wanted to put Alex Smith back in the game yesterday.
Oh, I heard that.
That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. I digress.
Well, and listen, the reasoning Cowher was giving was...
He hates running quarterbacks.
Well, but he thought that Smith had more experience, and Smith would be able
Ken
to
Graham had more
handle the. And I agreed with Cowher that San Francisco was in the 2-minute drill from that point on. But guess what? Kaepernick did it.
Yeah, right.
He did it. I mean, if it wasn't for that field goal drive, which was a tremendous drive engineered by Baltimore.
Bill Cowher was a very good NFL coach. Here's something he was not very good at: handling quarterbacks. But go ahead.
He was terrible handling quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He proved that over the years, and luck It was lucky Ben Roethlisberger.
He didn't want him.
Not only did not want him, but remember, he was playing Kent Graham over him. Am I mistaken on that?
He was playing Kent Graham over Cordell. He was playing. He was going to go with another year of Tommy Maddox,
right?
Who had been just brutal the last year.
But they were that. Remember, it was the game in Miami. Remember, Ben was like the backup. He was forced to play Ben as a rookie, right?
Yeah. But Johnny Batch got hurt, and he became Ben Roethlisberger became the.
He was the third string quarterback at the time.
Was 2. Who was number 1?
Was it Maddox? I thought it was Graham. Wasn't it Kent Graham?
No. Kent Graham. No, I forget.
All right. Well, whatever. I'm with you on the fact.
Maddox was. No, no.
We have to look it up, but it was a nobody. I'll tell you that.
Maddox got hurt against Baltimore. Ben went in and played the rest of the season, and they didn't lose a game.
Now, we'll look it up.
Yeah,
because it was 90. It was 94.
04. But go ahead and make your
94. You're right.
Make your
94 was Neil O'Donnell. Yeah. It was 04. It was 04. All right.
Maddox got hurt against Baltimore in the second game, replaced by Ben. They didn't lose a game the rest of the year. Third game.
All right, make my case 4.
Yeah, well, just saying. I right now I'm
going to stick with Ben because I think he's a Hall of Fame type quarterback. You got to have a team around him.
Yeah.
But I see Ben very much as in the same way that John Elway struggled a lot, not struggled, but couldn't win the big one with that Denver team, and it wasn't Elway's fault. It was the guys around him.
Yeah.
And then once Elway got the right team, he reeled off 2 in a row.
Yeah.
I still say Ben's got a couple more Super Bowls in him. I've seen enough. Look, Ben had to talk me out of myself. I wasn't a huge proponent of Ben Roethlisberger until he kept getting them to Super Bowls. I've seen him now make, again, I'll go back to the 9-second play this year where he held the ball for 9 seconds and bought it all on his own. No other quarterback, including Fran Tarkenton, can do it as well as Ben because Tarkenton could scramble, but he couldn't literally brush people off like fleas.
I will never deny that.
Yeah, so because of his unique ability, if I have a 1 in a million in any sport, I'm keeping him in any sport. So I don't think Flacco's 1 in a million. Great quarterback, but he's not 1 in a million. Ben's 1 in a million. So I'm not trading Ben for anybody at this point.
And remember, Steigerwald versus Fedko is brought to you by Eastern H2O. It's located in the Fox Chapel Plaza. Reactor watches.
Reactor watches.
Just forget that.